Hello, Dr. Greene.
Hello.
All right, we will get started in about 4 minutes. I think people are just getting started, getting to be live right now. So we'll give a few more minutes.
Okay. I just want to practice this share my screen.
We sure can.
Okay. Let me cancel this. Share screen. Oh. Oh, it went away. Let me do this one more time.
Okay, it's right there. Open it up. Keep it open.
Yes, ma'am. It went somewhere.
Okay.
Do I need to open it entirely?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this one more time.
There you go. And share.
Do you see it?
Yes.
And you okay.
Yep, I see it, and then you can go slideshow. Perfect.
Put it in.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it later. Stop
We can
sharing.
keep it that way too. Yeah, we can open either way, no problem. So we're good. 2 more minutes.
All right.
I think we're all set. We just give a couple of more minutes, and we will get started 5:30.
Okay.
If you put this in our phone, I'll come back up, and when I hear you talking, then I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we start with? Okay, 5:30. Okay, 5:30 it is. All right, let's get started. I think folks are coming on, so we'll get started. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and this is Satya Churamani from the Indo-US Chamber of Northeast Florida, welcoming you all for the live Q&A town hall with Dr. Diana Greene, who is the superintendent of the Duval County Public Schools. It's 5:30 p.m. I want to first welcome you all. This session is for 60 minutes. And just to go through the how we're going to run this, we will have a round of introduction, after which Dr. Greene will be presenting to us and sharing with us a few important data points pertaining to the Duval County Public Schools. And then we will open it up for Q&A. So as a participant, All of you can ask questions. All you have to do is, if you're on Facebook right now, on the comment section, type up your questions. I will drag them and drop them into the queue for Dr. Greene to respond to. So we will have an interactive session. Feel free to ask as many questions as you want. We'll make sure that we get them answered. We will do a quick time check at about 6:25. And depending upon the questions, if we have time, we'll go a few minutes. If not, we will wrap it up by 6:30. So that's the plan. Once again, I want to welcome Dr. Greene for taking the time. In fact, I was asking her if she even had any sleep in the last 50, 60 days, given so much going on, something that we've probably never seen before happening in any school district, let alone our own Duval County. So with that, let me do a quick introduction of Dr. Greene, and then I'll turn it over to her. Okay, so Dr. Diana Greene began her tenure as a superintendent of Duval County Public Schools, the 20th largest school district in the nation, on July 1st, 2018. So she's coming up on her second anniversary here. She arrived in this role with extensive classroom and leadership experience, beginning with her first elementary teaching position at the Mamie Angus Jones in Baldwin, Florida. Prior to becoming a superintendent in the Duval County, Dr. Greene served as a superintendent and the deputy superintendent of the instructional services at Manatee County. During her 33-year career as an educator, she has spent time as a teacher, assistant principal, and principal, as well as in curriculum development, staff development, and in senior executive leadership. Last summer, Dr. Greene's initial assessment of the Duval County Public Schools concluded with three major goals. 1, improve academic achievement to become an A-rated school district. 2, improve safety and security. And 3, bring financial solvency to the district. After just 1 year of leadership, the district has made outstanding progress on each goal. In 2019, school grades for the Duval schools reflect remarkable growth. The district scored a historic number of points on Florida's accountability scorecard and now sits just a fraction of a percentage point from an A-rated designation. 2/3 of the district's low-performing schools, those that earned a D or an F in 2018, improved by 1 or more letter grades in 2018-2019 school year. Additionally, the number of A-rated schools in the district grew by almost 30%. On safety, Dr. Greene conducted a personal review of every high school, which led to initiatives such as the installation of high-definition security cameras throughout each facility and improved extensive lighting at many schools. Surveillance is being improved at elementary and middle schools as well, and the district will be implementing a walk-through metal detector initiative on an as-needed basis to manage school operations and ensure student safety whenever there's an alleged threat to a school. Financially, Dr. Greene has taken several steps to improve stability and improve public perception of the district finances. Even during a year when state per student operational funding increased just 47 cents per student, Dr. Greene has made improvements to budget forecasting and budget monitoring towards reducing or eliminating the amount of reserves needed to balance the budget. The district has also completed a financial transparency webpage providing easy access to budget, audits, and financial reports for the public. Academics, safety, and financial solvency underlie one of the most valuable or visible initiatives of Dr. Greene's first year as the superintendent of Duval County. A proposed referendum to voluntarily impose a half a penny sales tax to radically improve all schools' facilities over the next 10 to 15 years. If successful, the revenue will bring schools safer, improve academic outcomes, and reduce operational costs, enabling more dollars to be spent in the classroom. On a personal note, Dr. Greene is a daughter of a father who served in the Air Force, and she grew up living in locations all over the US and abroad. She is married to James Greene, an independent financial advisor, and they have 2 sons, Alden and Joshua. Without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Diana Greene, And thank you so much for taking the time today.
Well, thank you so much. And whoever sent my bio, I need to probably tell them, cut that down. Don't long bio again. But good evening, everyone. And I'm so happy to be here with you. I want to quickly share what we have accomplished over the last 5 weeks, over the time we've been dealing with COVID-19. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. Just give me a moment.
Excellent.
Thanks. I really am very proud about the accomplishments we've made with our Duval homeroom. It really came together in about 3 days. We only really had 3 days to completely develop our at-home instructional program. So very quickly, I'm going to talk about a little bit about instructional delivery, our student attendance, the class of 2020 graduation, food service. We've been feeding students every weekday since I'm going to say it was March 16th. We started our food service, our laptop deployment, our laptop service desk, and the amazing partnerships we've had throughout this ordeal. Our program, we call it Duval Homeroom, but we actually are using Microsoft Teams to deliver our online instruction. And unfortunately, I can't show you this great video of one of our teachers actually delivering a lesson using Microsoft Teams, where students can literally engage with the teacher as they see the teacher. We've been able to have club meetings, continue to have band class music mashups. That means where students are playing their instruments at home and able to infuse all of their instruments together. We actually have a virtual art gallery. Currently, the Duval Homeroom Art Gallery is showcasing our middle school students. We have evening bedtime stories. Also through Duval Homeroom, those bedtime stories could be from Story Hour. I read a story. There are a number of people reading stories to our students. Teachers are recording these bedtime stories. We've had virtual field trips. And also, one might think if we're doing online or at-home learning, you can't have any fun. We are still doing student-led virtual Fun Friday. That is where the students are in charge and determines what's going to happen in the classroom during that time. Believe it or not, nationally, student attendance is down since many states have gone to online learning, but that is not the case for Duval County Public Schools. Student attendance is actually up. As you can see, we are showcasing the attendance by school board member district, and you can see the attendance prior to spring break and the attendance after spring break. Even the district that the attendance is lower than the other school board member districts, it is still higher than where it was prior to spring break. So we are very proud that we have a system in place that our students are engaged and they are keeping up with their work, even if they're doing the paper pencil packet. We have a personnel from the school contact those students and provide support over the phone. And we check on those students every single school day. Here's probably the one thing many people are concerned about, and it's our high school graduation ceremonies. We went out to our high school seniors and we asked them what did they want to do. We gave them 5 options. They could consider having virtual graduation. They could postpone the graduation, have a graduates only graduation, drive-through graduation, and a drive-in graduation. Overwhelmingly, the students, over 3,000 responses from our high school seniors wanted us to postpone the graduation slated for July, and that's what we've chosen to do. Soon, seniors will start getting information about how that will work in the month of July. We need to make sure everyone understands we will still have to implement whatever the criteria for social distancing is at that time. My guess, our goal is to have the normal graduation, but what concerns us is we may have to limit the number of guests that seniors will be allowed to have at the graduation. But before July, we wanted to do something for our seniors because officially their last school day is May 15th, and we wanted to do something to recognize them as they leave high school. So we have partnered with WJX and High School 912 to broadcast a senior time capsule showcase for our high schools. The showcase will include an overall celebration of each school's seniors, and each school will receive 1 hour broadcast starting on May 16th. We will have it May 16th, the 17th, the 23rd, and the 24th. So look for those time schedules for your child's high school, and I hope you will tune in. Food service. Though this food service analysis shows up to April 14th, we have surpassed the 1 million food service and meals delivered. As you can see on this chart, it says total meals equivalent served 647,193. Well, we are now well over 1 million meals that we have served. We currently serve breakfast, lunch, and at many locations, dinner is included. We are averaging about 45,000 meals a day that we are delivering, whether it is through our Big Yellow Lunch and Learn. That means that is our school buses stopping at elementary school bus stops, or it is grab and go, where parents, if they have access to transportation, can drive to the school and pick up their breakfast, lunch, and if that school qualifies for dinner as well. At the very beginning of COVID-19, you probably know we extended spring break for a week, and we were one of 4 districts that began on March 23rd. We were the largest school district to open up an at-home learning program. And for it to be successful, we had to deploy laptops. And we, at the time of this data, had deployed over 36,000. As of today, I'm confident that we've deployed over 37,000. In addition to the deployment, we also went into a what we call at-home delivery service. We knew that not all of our families had adequate transportation to come to any of our 10 distribution sites. And so we started an at-home delivery service. We would physically deliver the laptops to our families. In addition to the laptop deployment, we have a 50-member service desk where parents can call in about issues, about concerns, as well as today we still have 7 locations that parents can drop off their laptop if it's not working, and we give them a brand new laptop or a different laptop so that they can continue working in their classes. I will tell you, this was probably our biggest challenge, manning that service desk and being able to serve our families. As you can see, the green line represents calls that were answered. We weren't answering very many calls in the very beginning because the lines were being overloaded. We've gotten better each day. Now wait time is down to about 3 minutes when parents call in on average. We couldn't have done this alone. We couldn't have done what has been accomplished over the last 5 weeks without our partners. And so we are so grateful to the partners that contributed to making Duval Homeroom a success. We had 35,000 elementary books to distribute. We distributed them 2 weeks ago to our elementary students of Title I schools. That came from Read USA. They jumped in, helped us gather those books. Our team assembled those books and placed them on the big Lunch and Learn, and we were able to deliver those books, whether it was mobile or they could stop by the schools through Grab and Go to get books for reading. Hand sanitizer, masks, gloves. For our secondary students, we had a huge donation of feminine hygiene products and paper and pencils, things for our secondary students that we delivered last week. And that was a huge hit for our middle and high school students. And blessings in a backpack. For certain schools and certain families, we are able to give them food for the weekend. And that organization has been with the school district for quite a while. And it was great that they wanted to step up and continue providing food for some of our families. That is the end of my presentation about what's happening or what has happened with the school district, and I'm going to turn it back over.
All right, so
yeah, some questions.
Yes, I have a lot of questions on the screen that I'm going to start throwing on the screen for you to look at. I want to start with one that catches my attention at the top, which is coming in from Robert Bradfield from the First Coast News. And the question is, what message of reassurance do we have for the parents worried about the extended school year, and how was that decision made?
Well, first of all, it is a state law that students are in school for a certain number of hours. Because we extended the extended spring break for 5 days, we lost those instructional hours. And we have to make it up unless the state provides a waiver. I know everyone keeps saying extend, but those days are already built into the calendar. They're called weather days. So when we have to make up time, whether it's a hurricane, and in this case, it was because of COVID-19, we simply say we need to utilize those days to make up the time. We are confident that the Department of Education, they've heard not only from Duval County Public Schools, but other districts who were in the same situation. And we believe that we will hear soon that there may be a possibility of waiving that time. So when people say we extended the school year, we really didn't extend the school year. We just utilized the weather days that were already on the calendar to make up the time.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Greene. I have a tactical question that's come up, which is a good one to ask. My son is a senior at Frank H. Peterson. How will he get his belongings from the school lockers?
Well, that's a great question, because we are in our final draft of guidelines on closing down school. And we are very much aware that not only our students never got a chance to come back to school, neither did our teachers. And we've developed a guidelines, one, to make sure we're still complying with the CDC social distancing guidelines, and two, making it very easy for families to get their personal items. And our priorities at this time are seniors, 8th graders, and 5th graders, and students who are transferring to another school or transferring outside the district. Information will start flowing to homes sometime next week that will explain how the process will work at their particular school.
Excellent. Which ties back to the next question I had. I think part of it you've already answered. And this question is more around assuming school transition to different schools. And the last one, will there be a summer orientation?
We will be working with the Department of Education, and as you heard, the governor is opening parts of the state starting next week. Well, schools are a part of that process. And right now, schools are not in phase one, which is what the governor had shared yesterday, and we are part of phase two. And as we get closer to phase two, we will be giving families information. How does it impact your particular school? How does this impact our district? And when you say students transitioning to different schools, will there be a summer orientation? It still will determine on what are the guidelines at that time as it relates to social distancing, but we will do orientation. It may be virtual, it may be through a go-to meeting, but we will do something so that students are aware of the things that will be different at their new school. We've also discussed a number of ways that school may open up next school year.
Good, which is part of the question that's already popping up on the screen. I'll go with the next one, which is coming up about sports tryouts.
Yes, there has been conversation about sports tryouts, but right now, sports, they're not in phase one. We will continue to work especially in the months of May and June, to make that determination. I will say that school districts are working hard, that we're all aligned and all on the same page. We are also working with the Florida High School Athletic Association to determine what will be the timeline when it's safe to return to practices, tryouts. And right now, the first season we have concerns about is football season, because normally it would start July 27th.
Cool. Thank you. The questions keep coming up. So folks, just a reminder for any of you who need to ask a question, feel free to put your question on the comment section and we'll make sure we bring it up on the screen for Dr. Greene to respond. Okay. Will students be required to wear masks next school year?
Well, we have to work through what it means to reopen schools. If you look at the current CDC guidelines on social distancing, it basically says that no more than 10 people can be in one location. When you think of schools, we have hundreds to thousands. I mean, our largest high school is about 3,000 students. We cannot open up until those guidelines are in a place that would consider the number of students that would be attending a school. Doesn't mean that we will not institute wearing masks. That doesn't mean that. We're going to look at the CDC guidelines. We're going to align what we will do to those guidelines and use best practices.
Thank you. Moving on to the next question. The last day for seniors was May 15th. Has that changed?
No, that has not changed. You should be hearing from, like, as I said earlier, from your schools as early as next week about closing out, especially for seniors.
And this is a good one. What allowances are going to be made for high school students with IEPs who are not finding success at this time?
Actually, we will be working on IEPs throughout the summer, and I would highly encourage this particular individual to contact their school with contacting the guidance counselor and the principal so that we can ensure that we address any concerns with that IEP. We may not be meeting in person, but we can still have go-to meetings. We are working with parents today. We actually have IEP meetings going on as we speak because we have the capability of the virtual conferencing.
Great. Awesome. I will quickly move on to the next question as well. And definitely, it's a great shout out. As a teacher, you have my respect for the way families have been taught and have cared for during this time. Thank you all for doing this. My question, and the question for many teachers, is there a plan in place to make sure all schools are ready to go with laptops when the school starts back on campus?
Well, as you saw in my presentation, we've distributed over 40,000 laptops. And even when those laptops are returned back to the district, those laptops have to go through a process. They have to go through a process of cleaning, re-imaging, and that means we clean everything off of the laptop. We can ensure that nothing's going to show up on that laptop that's not appropriate. And so that process will have to occur. And we want our students to have access to any summer programs, because we still have to offer summer school. And at this time, we're probably leaning more to a virtual summer school. So it really would not be to our advantage to collect laptops at this time, other than from seniors.
Thank you for that. Moving on to the next question. If the state grants the waiver, would there be a reversal in the decision to continue instructions in June?
Absolutely. We requested the waiver and was told that at that time they were not considering waivers, and that school districts needed, if they had days in their calendar to make up the time, they needed to use them. And that's what we did. And now I believe that they've heard from, like I said, not just our school district, but other school districts, and the consideration is becoming more of a priority.
Okay. Do you think we will have staggered days or times next year?
Here's what I think. I think the first day of school may not look like the first day of school that we are accustomed to. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't believe I can tell you, well, it'll look staggered, or it will be part of the students come in the morning and part of the students come in the afternoon. I know that our staff is reviewing every option so that we will be prepared to have an opening of school, and one that the community, our families, are well aware of prior to the first day of school.
That's important. We have not seen this before, so it's important for us to understand how it's going to be and plan this out. Thank you. How will this impact schools that failed last year, students, I presume, and may have been failing again prior to COVID lockdown? I think it's about schools.
Well, if I'm understanding the question, if a school had a school grade that was no matter what the school grade was, they are getting the same school grade for the upcoming school year. So if your school grade was an A last year and we didn't take FSA this year, and school grades weren't delivered or assigned, then we have to stick with the current school grade. So if it's an A, B, C, D, or F, that grade remains.
Next question. What about library or textbooks that may need to be returned?
All of that information will be in a connected message coming out from schools as early as next week, and they will share what you need to bring to the school. I am confident they're going to share, if you have a library book and you need to return it, bring it with you. Again, we will give very explicit directions on the closing down of school to ensure, one, we're in compliance with the CDC guidelines, and two, we understand that families did not have an opportunity to pick up their personal items because we went into home instruction straight out of spring break.
And this question is an important one. Thank you for this communication avenue. Please keep it up. My 9th grader is not adapting to distance learning. His grades have suffered greatly. The curriculum has not adjusted to his homeschooling. The workload is tremendous. Cramming the curriculum to the end of the school year like nothing has changed. Distance learning is not created for daily schedule even in college. St. John's County Schools has Wednesdays off every week as a break. I think this is more of a comment, but I think that this underlying theme here is, are there concerns you're hearing from the ground about distance learning? I think that's the bottom line question, Dr. Greene.
Absolutely. Distance learning is not for everyone. It's very different than face-to-face. Many times, when you think about distance learning, individuals think of the type of online where you could be in your pajamas at 3 o'clock in the morning and start working on your coursework. That is not the same with Duval Homeroom. There is a schedule. There is an expectation. It starts at 8 a.m. We're expecting you to log in at 8 a.m. Or there are times that you're actually meeting with your teacher. There's an expectation. So it can be very tedious. And we really work with our schools and try to encourage them to remember that this is new. But at the same time, I like to remind families, this is also new for our teachers. Many of our teachers are not virtual trained. They're not trained in the virtual world. And what we are doing is technically beyond virtual, because a lot of our sessions or our lessons, they're done live. And we have logged in over 1 million live teaching sessions in 5 weeks. So it is challenging, but we need to remember that we want our students to academically move forward. We don't want them to fall behind, but we are very cognizant that there are things we're going to have to do next year to support students who may be struggling, to support students that maybe they didn't struggle, but when we're back to face-to-face, it really will be a unique experience.
Thank you, Dr. Greene. Next question is it possible that the 2021 school year will start later than what the calendar currently shows?
There is a possibility. I know the Commissioner of Education sent out a survey to teachers and families, and there was a question, would you like the school year to start after Labor Day? That decision, again, would be made at the Florida Department of Education, because local schools, the current school districts, the law states that you can start anytime after August 10th. And pretty much all school districts are starting the next school day after August 10th. And that change would have to come from the Department of Education if we were to start the school year after Labor Day.
Obviously, that means that the end of the school year may also have to be shifted. Everything's just right.
Yes, because again, there is an hour requirement for seat time. So yes, if it started after Labor Day, you just need to know we have to still do 180 days.
Yeah, and that's why I just wanted to call it out. Everything shifts right if we go down that path. So don't want everybody to be surprised if we have classes beyond May 24th of 2021. So
they will be well into the month of June.
Yes. Yes. Okay, next question. Will you be informing parents who are not on social media about the ongoing school changes? I have not received an email or a phone call with my recent updates is a question.
Yes, most of our information that we're talking about, major changes, we do it on social media, but we also use a connected phone call. And since there was a connected phone call the other day, I'm concerned that they're saying they didn't get one. We just did it's not always my voice, but there was a connected phone call that should have went out yesterday.
Question which is closer to me, the teachers, are there going to be teacher layoffs?
Well, currently we have a budget that was developed by the legislatures, and it's sitting on the governor's desk. It has not been signed. So we are developing scenarios, and right now we're not looking at teacher layoffs. I am committed to ensuring that we're going to do everything possible to ensure that our funding is at a level that we will not have that to worry about. In addition, we have a teacher shortage. Currently today, we probably have over 200 teaching vacancies. So that's something that people probably are not aware of, and that would be areas of support if our budget was cut.
Thank you for that. I'm sure that is also very reassuring for the parents. Next question: would this experience lend to incorporating virtual learning in instances of closures in the future, for either weather or health reasons?
Well, I believe that Duval Homeroom will still exist next year, but it may exist for a different reason. Many of our teachers have grown to, I won't say love, but grown to really like teaching online. Again, Duval Homeroom through Microsoft Teams is developed as if we are in school for the same number of hours that you are when you're in our buildings, in the facilities face to face, so that students are engaged during that entire time. That is different when your parents are back to work or they're not working from home any longer. I'm not sure how that would work with elementary. Parents wouldn't want to leave their elementary school students home alone. And so Duval Homeroom, I believe, has a place in the school district. It's just, I'm not prepared today to say how it would be utilized. But if we are having a weather day, that is something, that's something we should consider. We had a Hurricane Dorian, and we were being told it's coming, and Dorian kind of just skirted on the outside, and we were out for 6 days, and we had to make up that time. So that's something to think about.
Good, great question. As a licensed mental health counselor, I'm hearing from many parents and students who are feeling frustrated, anxious, and overwhelmed with the time and energy it takes to understand and meet what feel like unrealistic expectations for course management and workload. As a parent who works 2 jobs from home while teaching 2 elementary students, we quit online school last week because it was not productive or valuable for our kids. I know there's not a question there per se, Dr. Greene, but I think it was one of the parents calling out their point about what they were going through.
Right. What I would recommend to that parent, schools also have at-home packets. You don't have to be online. We have the ability to have paper and pencil packets. Many parents feel that is a better way for their child to be productive, and then either the teacher or someone at the school calls and supports the student throughout the day. But I would highly encourage them to reconnect with their school, because this will be over at some point, and you will return to school, and you want to make sure everything is in order.
And that's a great data point to share. Thank you for sharing that. So it's not that you have to be, there's an option for you to do the other route as well. So thank you for that. Next question: can you speak to the expectations for workload and grading in light of the National Board of Professional Teaching Standards, which say that elementary students should have 1 to 2 hours a day of online instructions, middle school students 2 to 3 hours, and high school 3 to 4?
Again, our expectation and what we are doing is ensuring that we are meeting the guidelines of actual school attendance. That information is is what we would follow if we were just doing a standard virtual school, which we do have Duval Academy. That is our virtual school, and we have elementary students in it, we have middle and high. And those virtual classes, they don't have to be present at the moment. That is not what Duval Homeroom is. Duval Homeroom is you are present, you actually see your teacher. Most virtual schools has limited access to the teacher. And when I say limited access to the teacher, I mean you actually can see the teacher. The teacher is available, but much of your work or much of your instruction is delivered in written communication. And so it is a little different. And we acknowledge that this cannot compare to our children being in our schools and being face-to-face with your teacher. It is an unfortunate situation that we are in. And I know that we have, again, worked with our principals and our teachers to really tell them that, remember, we're all under a lot of stress. And I continue to remind families, please remember our teachers actually have their own children with them at home as well. So we're all feeling the stress. We're all feeling it together. But I think it's great to have something like this. So people, sometimes you need to express your frustration or express concern, and to know that someone is listening. I may not have the answer you want, I may not be able to give you everything that you want, but I'm working to let our families and teachers know that I empathize with them, because we're all going through some form of stress through this COVID-19 situation.
Thank you so much. And the next question is an important one. I want to share that. It's a long one, but it's important we read it out. I work with the Teen Health Center, Florida Department of Health, where they can receive education and counseling for sexual health services, being that schools are closed now and we can't attend the full service schools like we did during the school year. Is there anything in place for Teen Health Center, or how we can reach out to these teens? We know they are supposed to be practicing social distancing. However, we made some huge impact in the schools and we don't want them to feel like they're left alone, I think. Last part.
Well, actually, our full service schools are still working. They're doing it either virtually or through telephone. So our teletherapy is still up and working. And I pulled out my phone so I can give the phone number to reach our teletherapy services. So please, the phone number is 904-438-4223. And that is for mental health assistance. It's for all of our students. So they can be elementary, middle, or high school.
If you don't mind, can you repeat it again for the audience?
Yes, the phone number is 904-438-4223.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm sure that helps. Okay, here's a question. What happens when parents have to go back to work and the children are still home learning?
Well, this would be no different than summer. We're about to hit the summer months, and many parents are going to go back to work. Our goal, as I stated, if this question is about the opening of the 2021 school year, our goal is to be in complete alignment with the CDC. And currently that requirement under the CDC, we cannot open our schools because we cannot have just 10 people in a location or 10 students in a classroom. So we will continue to work with the Department of Education, our health department, and as I stated, we are working on what would be scenarios that we would implement at the beginning of next school year.
Excellent, thank you. Next question, do we have EOCs?
No, we do not. we waived all of our end of year exams. So that is something none of our students have to worry about. We did away also with elementary diagnostic exams. There are no exams in the month of May.
Great, thank you. Next question. When will we start to turn in our books and laptops, Roberta?
Again, information from each school will go out starting next week. That will give guidelines. Our number one groups of priority are seniors, 8th grade, 5th grade, and students who may be leaving the district or transferring to another school. And then other students will be given information about how their families can come to the school. And our whole goal is that they won't have to leave their car. Our goal is that we will get everything that is needed and deliver it to their vehicle. So they're not getting out, coming inside the school.
Excellent. I know the answer, but I want to make sure it's asked as well. Will summer camps be offered for the elementary children at certain schools?
Well, currently the district is working on 2 plans. 1, if we're able to have face-to-face, and 2, if we're not, how this will be done virtually. But summer camps are generally through Kids Hope Alliance, and they are just using our facilities. So that's really up in the air at this time. So I can't really give a yes or no to that.
Understand. District end of course exams have been cancelled. It is my understanding that 20% typically used for these exams in student grades have been waived for the 2019-2020 school year. District iReady and Achieve end of year testing has been cancelled. Why was the testing cancelled? Will our schools give iReady and Achieve spring diagnostics?
We canceled the EOCs, the end of course exams, the spring diagnostic, because we were listening to our families and listening to our teachers that they felt this would be too stressful. That is why we canceled those assessments. In addition, we didn't want something that counted 20% to impact a 4th quarter grade when this learning model was the first time ever being used for an entire school district. And we felt that this was one way we could alleviate some stress.
Thank you. I'm just going through a lot of questions coming up, so I just want to make sure that I don't miss any of them.
We might not be finishing at 6:30.
We'll probably go a few minutes after that. Do you think the current virtual schooling is effective in teaching what was intended?
I think the current virtual schooling is effective in the sense that we had to turn this on a dime. Something so traumatic such as COVID-19 overtook our entire consciousness, and we had to figure out how are we still going to educate our students. And we were very fortunate to have Microsoft Teams and to have over 1,400 teachers already trained in how to use Microsoft Teams. I think it's effective, but many families as well as teachers are not used to virtual instruction. And to learn something in that short time period, I think each week we got a little bit better. And we're trying to implement something that I think is very effective, yet we're not in a very effective environment dealing with COVID-19, dealing with people losing their jobs or the possibility of losing your job, or you're trying to teach and you have 3 of your own children roaming behind you and running around the house. It's just very different. If we were in normal and children were in safe places and we were doing this virtual environment, I believe it would be seen as very effective. But we're not in a normal environment right now.
Just understandable. Next question. How will school closures affect summer groups such as marching bands?
Again, marching band, we are in conversations about not just marching band, but JROTC, football. All of those activities would normally occur during the summer. And right now, under the CDC guidelines, we do not believe they would qualify to occur. But that's today. Things seem to be changing very quickly. And as things change, we are preparing ourselves to be nimble enough to pivot whichever way we need to pivot. But if someone was to ask me, well, tell me today, are we having summer marching band? I would have to say no. But 2 weeks from now, things may have changed and I would have a different answer. Our goal is to have everything that will happen during the summer, those decisions made by at least the middle of May.
I know we answered this question, but this came from a senior. I thought I'll post it up again. I'm a senior at Frank K. H. Peterson. My question is, will graduation time slots be changed as we voted to have graduation postponed? I know you answered this question. Since Greene just came online, I thought, if you don't mind to repeat your response, please.
Well, I'm not on the graduation committee. I know that graduations have been postponed to I think the last 2 weeks of July, but I don't know the time slots. So I can't say whether Frank H. Peterson is in the same time slot as if it was May. So.
Hope that helped. Next question. What's the time frame on finding out when schools will be back in the fall? As a teacher, my budget is very tight going back in August. I can't imagine waiting another month.
Well, the time frame of finding out when schools will go back actually depends on the Department of Education. Again, our calendar is already set. But if the Department of Education and the governor comes out with an executive order that schools cannot open up until after Labor Day, then we will have to follow that executive order. However, we have been continuing to ask questions, continuing to ask, when will you give us information? Because it is very stressful to not know and then not know when you can tell me something.
Thank you. Next question. My daughter is a 9th grader at Paxton, and she will be still learning at a high school level. I use Microsoft Teams at work, and it is very comprehensive technology tool. Thank you for the staff and faculty at Paxton and the school district staff as a whole. So this is definitely a great complimentary message and a well-deserved message to the school district and to the teachers as well.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate. Just so you know, next week is National Teacher Appreciation Week. So it's a great time to, we encourage you to send video messages to your child's teacher. We encourage you to chalk, as we call it, chalk the walk, saying thank you messages. We know that this has been challenging for everyone, and our teachers really have, done a yeoman's job. Whether it's been a struggle or it's been what you expected, everyone's tried their best to do what is needed to help our students continue moving academically forward.
Thank you for that. Next question. My kids were AB honor roll students before do-all homeroom now are getting lower grades because of how confusing this is. Will they be held back because of this? I was under the understanding that parents would make the call to pass or fail the students, not teachers. Why has this changed?
Well, first, it never changed. I think what people are talking about is there was a paper from the Department of Education, and it was about third grade. That is the only state mandated retention grade level. And because the state is not giving the FSA, parents could request that their child be retained. Retention is still the same. However, if were an AB honor roll student prior, the first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, third 9 weeks, there's nothing that could be done with your grades that would put you in a position to be held back. So I don't know why you would think you're going to be held back, but based on the question and the information in the question, you would not be held back.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I'm sure that's comforting. The next question, can you please explain how early release of Wellness Wednesdays was supposed to work?
Wellness Wednesdays occur on early release days. That is also a requirement by statute or school board rule that we provide 6 hours of mental health instruction, and that is where Wellness Wednesdays came from. We do it on early release days. The lessons are developed for the teachers, and the teachers deliver that instruction. And that particular requirement wasn't waived, and so the teachers deliver it through Duval Homeroom.
Excellent. In addition to the questions, Dr. Greene, I have also been getting a lot of messages appreciating your entire leadership team and the teachers for what an amazing job they're doing. I'm not throwing all that up on the screen. I'm just taking the questions, but the team has been consistently strong about how much the teachers have gone above and beyond. As you rightly mentioned, the teachers are also new into this, right? And they have not had much experience working on this. Now with the students and them as parents at home having children themselves, to be able to manage this and juggling has been just completely amazing. So again, I'm summarizing the multiple comments I've received so far on the screen. I'm just summarizing that, but that's been across the board. Obviously, there are challenges with this, comes with challenges as well, because we've never done this before. Ideally, we do not want this, but we are where we are, and we are learning some things along the way. And it goes to all organizations, right? We are learning and making sure we can fail fast and grow along the way. So I'm sure, the Duval County Public Schools is no different. I'm doing a time check. We've got a few more questions, and I want to bring it to closure as well. So, but I'm continuing to see the messages of thank you. One question that's shown up is, why is it that the students have to take the AP exam still, whereas IB has been canceled?
Well, that is a decision by the College Board, who administers the advanced placement exams, and they are giving students the opportunity to earn that college credit. IB is a different organization. As a school district, if they are offering the exams, then we would be required to make sure that that offering is available. But that is the College Board organization that chose to continue with with an online exam.
So that is it. Thank you. Okay, I know you answered this question, but since I'll probably take the last one. How will hiring new teachers take place over summer, assuming we do not go into further phases?
Well, we will start hiring teachers in the month of May, and we will do it virtually. We have a system called GoToMeeting, and we will deliver that information to teachers when they apply, and principals will interview teachers, much like what you see here on Facebook Live, but it is a call-in system that once you reach the call, you can actually see the person and have a conversation. So we are not stopping the hiring process.
Great, thank you so much. Folks, there have been so many questions that have come up on the screen, and I've made sure I've captured most of them and brought them over so that we can get Dr. Greene to answer. If I had missed any of them, definitely not intentional. As I said, there were so many of them popping up on my right-hand side of the screen. I was trying to make sure that I don't miss any of the themes and had the opportunity for Dr. Greene to respond. I don't see any more. We are past 6:30. I'm just going to, any other closing comments by Dr. Greene before we officially close? Anything that you want to add on, Dr. Greene?
I just want to say thank you. I don't often get an opportunity to talk directly to families when we're not face-to-face in schools, and they just need to know that we do understand. We know that this was not perfect, and I don't know that it ever would have been perfect, even if they told us you have 3 months to put this together. This situation with COVID-19 has never been experienced, at least I can say, in my lifetime. And you know, we all had to learn, and as you said, fail quickly, grow quickly. And our families have failed and grown with us. And I just want to say thank you. And we'll need to continue to do that. We'll need to continue to grow together, continue to know that we are trying to answer questions as quickly as we can, but it is very fluid. And our goal is that we're going to provide still a high quality education, even in the midst of what seems like a dark time for us.
It sure has been. It sure has been. Again, we are past the hour. I really want to take the time on behalf of Indo-US Chamber of Northeast Florida and the entire community. I want to really take the time and thank you, Dr. Greene, for taking this time. As I said, you've probably not slept. Your leadership team and the teachers have not slept for quite some time just to get a handle on the whole thing. So thank you so much. Once again, we have been a very active panelist for Indo-US and a supporter of Indo-US at all times. We want to thank you for that. And folks, continue to follow us. We are looking at a few more events coming up in the month of May. We are working with Congressman Rutherford's office. We are looking at getting a session similar to this in the coming weeks to talk about some of the new laws that are coming into effect and what impact it will have on our community. That's coming up in the next few weeks as well. So we're going to continue this session, given that this seems to be a much more easier way to operate, or this becomes the norm, you never know, for us to have these sessions. So thank you for that. Looking forward to more participation from the community. And once again, Dr. Greene and your entire office, thank you so much. With that, we will close this session. Have a good rest of the evening. And once again, thank you all. Bye-bye.